Hey Transport. Today we're going to be talking about testosterone. So I am pretty at the moment. Back in England, my doctor and my therapist were going through the stages of getting me on T, and now I'm in America. It's a little bit more complex because I need to be set up with a doctor and I need to kind of start again. But I kind of wanted to hit more on the kind of difference between being pretty in England and being pretty over here.
Whatever suits you.
Being pretty in the kind of black community, it's a lot harder than being pretty in a white community, and this is because as black boys grow up and, you know, go through puberty and stuff like that, I think about 9.5 out of 10 of them they keep their facial hair, so they keep, you know, a little bit of a somewhat on the chin, or, you know, they keep it on the side or something like that. And also stereotypically black people are taller. Now I'm only about 5'5", and I'm not very tall, and I've never really. It's annoying because of the kind of when I'm with a girl or whatever, but other than that it's not really a big deal. But being pretty in the black community is a lot difficult because it's a lot more harder to pass. People hear my voice and look at my face and they just assume that I'm a big dyke because I don't have any facial hair or any sign of having facial hair, at least. You know, I think if I had that kind of stubble, it wouldn't be that bad, even if I did shave it. But it is harder being pretty in the black community than it is in the white community, and that goes for being in England and in America. Both pretty in America, in regards to being pretty in England. In England, I would pass 9.5 out of 10 at the time. And over here it's a lot harder for some reason. People look at my height and my smooth face and they just assume that, again, I'm a bit of a dyke, and I think it's because the lesbian community over here are a lot more butch than the lesbian community back home in England. I don't really know why that is. I think there's some kind of, like, you know, trend where, you know, lesbians try and become as manly as they can without, you know, actually becoming a man. And I suppose that's kind of the crossover for people that are pretty and for lesbians, and people don't see it as a difference between being pretty and being transsexual and just being a lesbian. Another thing about being pretty is people always say that I look about 15 years old. Which is weird because people have always said, like, throughout my life that I look older than I am, but as soon as I came over here everyone says that I look about 15 years old, and I think that English people must age slower than American people, because when I'm in England people think I'm my age, people think I'm 20, and I am 20, and over here people think I'm about 14, 15 years old, and I am not 14, 15 years old. Another thing that kind of bothered me about being pretty is my chest, and this is kind of, a lot of people when they start T, the chest gets smaller. It starts to kind of, you lose some of that breast tissue, and that's something that's really important to me. And I'm not putting all my cards on having that, because, you know, at the end of the day, if it doesn't happen then I'd be more upset about it, but it would be nice for me to have a smaller chest because it is annoying, and especially in Miami weather, especially on a hot day, it is hard having to bind all the time, especially with a big chest, and especially I stay out a lot, and I find that I'm binding like 24/7. Because bluntly I'm ashamed of my chest. So this is a bit of a sensitive subject, the second bit that I'm going to talk about. So if you don't want to hear about the kind of genital topics of this, I suggest that you stop watching. So as some of you probably know, when a trans guy starts T, the downstairs area starts to change a little bit. I'll try and find some links and set you up with some links to get some further information on that. But basically the downstairs area starts to change, just like when a boy goes through puberty, when a cis boy goes through puberty, his downstairs area starts to change. So if you think about the comparison, the same thing happens. And I think that's something that I'm also looking forward to, because when I do get intimate with someone, I feel like I'd be a bit more confident. But T, for me, a lot of people don't want to start T, and their reasons are completely valid. But T, for me, there is no opinion, there's no option about it. I want to start T. Ideally, I want to start it now. I got offered to start it the legal way and get it off the streets, and that didn't appeal to me, because you basically put in God knows what into your body, and no one, you don't have a clue what you're putting into your body. I mean, I spoke to a couple of guys where they've got it off the streets and it's worked perfectly fine for them, but I don't think I'm going to do that, because I don't trust what someone's going to give me. And you're still injecting yourself with a needle. I want to make sure that the needles that I get are medically cleared and they are clean, because you don't know what you're going to get off someone in the streets, and it could be in a plastic wrapping, but at the end of the day you can do that stuff at home. That's something that all trans people should be aware of. When you are going to do your hormones, just be careful of if you're going to do it illegally. I wouldn't recommend it. I don't think many people would. It is a pain in the arse having to wait until your doctor prescribes it to you, and it is hard having to wait. But I think that many people have made bad decisions by getting it off the street, and I think there needs to be some kind of awareness of that. So, peace. See you next week.